Today I just want to take a couple minutes here and I want to talk about one of the most important tools, training tools, or say, that we have available to us on a daily basis, all the time, almost no matter what. And that tool is the floor, or the ground, more specifically gravity. So gravity, it's all around us, it's always working on us. That's why we don't just get up and float away, right? It's always there, and it's always working down on us, all right? Our body is designed to predominantly run off of feedback that we get from our feet, feedback that we get from our hands, we get from our eyes and the ears, the visual and vestibular system. When we have control of those feedback systems, we are going to be able to generate more efficient fluid movement, all right, with a lot less pain, a lot more capability, because right down to the nervous system level, our body is prepared to move, and we are sending the appropriate signals up and down the spine. Everything's working smoothly. So what we're going to talk about today is a concept that I use with my clients, especially when you're doing something that is repetitive, you're doing something that is maximal effort, you're doing something that, like something that you get tired with, where you can't think as quickly, right? This is a very simple concept that if you utilize it very well, it'll take care of a lot of those 1, 2, 3, 4 step processes, trying to make sure things are set properly, especially if you're learning movement, you're learning something new. This is just going to give you some nice control systems that you have available to you. We're going to use those control systems and just give adequate feedback, focusing on what we do with gravity. We can resist it, we can use it, and we can repurpose it for our work, whatever it is that we're doing. So let's just talk simply in like squats, push-up, plank, or balance scenario like that. Nothing too crazy, but the same concept's going to work. So we know gravity's always working down on us. So gravity works in this direction here through this axis in our body. So what we're going to do, we're talking squats here. My main thing is I just want to make sure that I am getting good feedback from my feet, so that I can travel up the fascial lines and give me good feedback up to my brain, right? It's going to open those lines of communication. It's going to give me more strength, stability, power, whatever. We have these 3 points of contact. 1, 2, 3. Heel pad metatarsal, big toe metatarsal, and baby toe metatarsal. We're just going to try to manipulate and use those to the best of our ability. 3 points, we're strong and stable. 2 points, we're speed, powerful, we're quick. All right, so it doesn't matter. Same thing. You're just going to make sure you're utilizing those best you can. So when I'm in the squat position, whether it's body weight loaded, whatever it is, I'm loaded up. I've got my toes spread out, and they're just laid down long and straight, the same way as if you'd have your hand on the ground, right? You'd have the muscles in the hand itself are going to be engaging. The fingers are going to be spread. So we're going to get this nice spread here. Now, without going into too much detail about the short foot, I do that in my hardwired movement method. We can talk about that another day. But we're going to talk about the concept of actually thinking about pulling the floor towards us and then pushing the floor away from us. We're going to use our eyes to send 2 little height change signals that's going to jumpstart the reaction that's going to happen in the intrinsics of the foot, feed up to the pelvic floor, the hips, and then allow us to decelerate and accelerate at whatever tempo we want. All right. So from here, I'm just going to get 2 points in my eyes. I'm going to start nice and tall. One's up kind of over the horizon, the other one's down at the baseboard. Got my 3 points on my feet. And then from here, all I'm going to do is just look down at my target at the baseboard and think, pull the floor towards me. Boom. As soon as I do that, I feel the intrinsics of my feet creating that short foot. So I'm creating that engagement here. I'm starting to feel the tension in my glutes. I feel like I'm creating more depth. I'm creating some entire body's working together here. And then from here, I send the signal up with my eyes, a slight little up. That's going to start to tension my glutes right away. And all I think is push away. Pull towards me, push away, pull towards, push away, pull, push, and all of a sudden, things start to move smoothly. So if you're doing a bunch of squats, maybe doing jumps, total body extensions, pull towards, push away, pull towards, push away, single leg stuff, right? Lunges, same thing. Pull the floor, redirect, right? Gate. We use it all the time. We're just maybe not going straight up and down. Gravity is still working on us, but we want to try to generate movement that direction. So I'm going to pull it towards me, reuse it, repurpose it, and accelerate through, utilizing all 3 points of contact on the feet and utilizing the feedback that we are getting from the ground. Now, in terms of just a static balance, right, we want to think about less about pulling the floor towards us. What are we primarily trying to do in this scenario? Resist the pull of gravity. So let's just push the floor away from us. Lengthen the spine, bring the eyes up, and push the ground away. Keep those 3 points on your feet, and we're nice and stable. Now let's say you're on the balls of your feet. We want to be fast, we want to be powerful, and we want to add some speed to this. And I can be here. I'm thinking pulling the floor towards me, and then from there I'm going to boom, push it away from me in that direction, or whichever direction you need to do. We just want to make sure that we're mastering where the pull is. It's always pulling down. We need to use it, resist it, reuse it, or repurpose it for whatever we're trying to do. In terms of our push-ups or planks or anything like that, when we're in our push-up position, we want to be resisting with our feet, so pushing into the ground. That's going to keep the reflexive core on. With the hands, whenever you're contacting the ground, just like you would hold dumbbells, right? You don't just let your hands go weak when you're holding dumbbells. They're not just hanging there, right? So here, we're going to be holding onto the ground. Spread the fingers out. Push the thumb and the ring finger into the floor. You should feel a little intrinsic in the hand actually engage. There'll be some engagement to the forearm, nice little equilibrium engagement of the forearm. You're going to feel some muscles kick on in the shoulder complex as well. From here, we just bring that same concept as a squat. When we're adding locomotion, we're always we're trying to move. We're going to pull the floor towards us. That's going to keep us from trying to get lower, because when we get lower, that's why we reach the nose down, because our body is like, well, I'm going to get lower. There, that's a quick way to get lower, is bring my eyes closer to the ground, right? So to keep that out of the way, if you keep those the thumb and the ring finger pushed into the floor, and then you actively think about pulling, all of a sudden the posterior chain, the back half of my core is on, so that allows me to load everything else like a spring. So when I push the floor away from me, I'm not leaking any energy. I've got the entire body working together, and allows me to do that action more repetitively, with more power, with more speed, with more strength, with less pain, with more efficiency. The more efficient we move, the better we're going to be. The more strong, the more powerful, whatever you name it, just efficiency needs to be there. In the last one here, let's just talk about the planks, right? Whether it's like a high plank, low plank, it doesn't matter, right? If I'm here and I'm letting gravity pull me to the floor, it's not going to feel comfortable. I'm not going to be able to do it for very long. I'm not going to get much out of it. But if I just push the floor away from me, I'm going to flush my shoulder blades up to my rib cage, get the adequate serratus engagement so that my shoulder complex is packed and solid. Just continue to push down to the feet. We're not pushing back, right? Gravity's not working on us here. It's working here. You resist to create stability, and then you actively use to create locomotion or movement. I pull towards, I push away. All right, so that's going to be the concept that explore it, play around with it yourself, but that's one that I really feel helps me a lot, helps a lot of my clients, and it keeps the lines of communication on throughout the body. And the better we communicate, the better feedback we send to the rest of our body, the better our movement is going to be, and the more you're going to move, the more fun you're going to have, all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed.